Top 10 Most Hated Chevrolet Corvettes. When you think of the Chevrolet Corvette, it's natural to picture roaring engines, sleek designs, and a legacy of American performance that has been celebrated worldwide. But did you know that not every Corvette model has been met with admiration? Some Corvettes have earned a notorious reputation for missing the mark, whether due to questionable design choices, underwhelming performance, or simply being out of sync with their time. From the polarizing split-window design of the 1963 Corvette Hardtop Coupe to the overly ambitious yet flawed Callaway Twin Turbo of 1987, these most hated Corvettes carry stories that spark debate among enthusiasts. What do you think makes a Corvette truly memorable, for better or worse? Comment below with your favorite or least favorite Corvette, and let us know if any of these models changed your perception of America's sports car. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Muscle Car Masters for more intriguing takes on classic American muscle. 1963 Corvette Hardtop Coupe. The 1963 Corvette Hardtop Coupe is perhaps one of the most divisive models in Corvette history, often labeled as the most hated Corvette due to its unique design choices and the issues they created. The split-window design, a hallmark of this model, has become iconic over time, but it wasn't always revered. When the car debuted, the decision by GM's head of design, Bill Mitchell, to incorporate a split rear window was met with considerable resistance, particularly from Zora Arkus Duntov, known as the father of the Corvette. Duntov, who focused on performance and functionality, argued that the split-window design created significant visibility problems. This aesthetic feature, although intended to enhance the coupe's flowing roofline, resulted in a massive rear blind spot, frustrating drivers and creating an unusual problem with Corvettes that tainted the car's reputation among certain enthusiasts. Despite these functional flaws, the 1963 Corvette Hardtop Coupe was, in many ways, a breakthrough in American automotive design. Its stingray silhouette was futuristic, and the car's styling was praised globally for its elegance. It housed a powerful 327 cubic-inch V8 engine, capable of up to 340 horsepower, depending on the chosen configuration, making it a serious performance machine. However, the design's poor rear visibility overshadowed these performance credentials for many drivers, contributing to its perception as the most hated Corvette. Over time, as safety and convenience became higher priorities for sports car enthusiasts, the split-window design fell further out of favor. Ironically, this initial disdain for the 1963 Hardtop Coupe's quirks has only enhanced its status in the collector's market. Its one-year-only split-window design has made it one of the most sought-after Corvettes among collectors, adding a layer of exclusivity that has shifted perceptions. What was once considered a problematic design flaw is now a celebrated feature, symbolizing an era where automotive design dared to prioritize style even at the cost of functionality. For some, this design problem with Corvettes captures the spirit of 1960s American car culture. Bold, sometimes impractical, but undeniably stylish. Today, the split-window 1963 Corvette stands as a testament to the enduring appeal of classic American muscle, embodying the love-hate relationship fans have with this iconic model. 1979 Corvette L48. The 1979 Corvette L48 is often regarded as one of the most hated Corvettes, primarily due to its unimpressive performance and aesthetic quirks that failed to live up to the brand's legacy. In the wake of stricter emissions standards, this model's 5.7-liter V8 engine produced a paltry 195 horsepower, a far cry from the high-powered Corvettes of the 60s. For a car marketed as America's sports car, the low horsepower was a major letdown, especially when contrasted with the model's hefty curb weight of 3,372 pounds, which hampered both speed and handling. These issues with underwhelming power and sluggish performance became a glaring problem with Corvettes for enthusiasts who expected more punch under the hood. Despite these drawbacks, the 1979 Corvette set a sales record, with Chevrolet moving 53,807 units that year. This paradox between popularity and criticism reflects the mixed reputation this model holds in Corvette history. Its popularity might be attributed to the booming nostalgia for Corvettes, or the appeal of the shark-inspired body style that had evolved since 1968. Yet, once inside, owners were often confronted with a disappointing monochromatic interior, a leftover from the disco era, with colors that extended unappealingly onto the dashboard and door panels. Many found this interior design uninspiring, further fueling the car's notoriety as one of the worst Corvettes produced. Adding to the irony, Chevrolet equipped the 1979 L48 with various aesthetic upgrades, including spoilers from the Indy Pace Car edition and halogen headlamps. While these features offered some flair, they did little to distract from the model's lack of substantial mechanical innovation. Even the added comfort features, like the AM/FM radio, as standard and redesigned seats from the 1978 Pace Car edition, couldn't mask the vehicle's outdated engineering. For many, these superficial tweaks only highlighted the car's status as a placeholder model, with Chevrolet saving major upgrades for future releases. As time has passed, the 1979 Corvette L48 has remained an example of missed potential during a challenging era for American muscle cars. While it remains a collectible due to its record sales year, the 1979 L48 continues to evoke disappointment for those who expected Corvette's legacy of power and performance. For these reasons, it endures as one of the most hated Corvettes, representing the struggle to balance performance with regulatory compliance in an era of diminishing horsepower. 1953 to 1955, Corvette Blue Flame. The 1953 to 1955 Corvette Blue Flame models are often dubbed the most failed Corvettes, and remain among the most hated by enthusiasts due to their underwhelming performance and foundational design flaws. As Chevrolet's first attempt at a sports car, the 1953 Corvette initially sparked excitement with its sleek fiberglass body and European-inspired lines. However, beneath its bold exterior, the Corvette harbored a number of significant problems. Its power plant, the Blue Flame inline-six engine, was a reworked passenger car engine that produced a modest 150 horsepower, far below what drivers expected from a sports car. Paired with a two-speed Powerglide automatic transmission, the Corvette's performance fell short, especially when compared to the roaring V8s of competing models. The result was a Corvette that looked fast but felt slow, creating a gap between expectation and reality that disappointed many early adopters. The problems with Corvettes in this era extended beyond the engine. The Blue Flame models used a chassis built from existing sedan parts, which compromised the car's handling and overall ride quality. This approach might have been financially practical, but it led to lackluster suspension and a jarring driving experience, at odds with the Corvette's sporty image. Additionally, Chevrolet's ambitious decision to use a 108-piece fiberglass body, while innovative, led to quality control issues. The body panels often didn't align, and the early production methods made it difficult to achieve a smooth finish. These fit and finish problems, combined with the limited performance, made it clear that while the Blue Flame Corvette was visually appealing, it didn't deliver on the road. By 1955, Chevrolet responded to the growing dissatisfaction, introducing a 265 cubic inch V8 engine option that changed the Corvette's trajectory. This new V8 produced 195 horsepower and transformed the Corvette into a real contender in the sports car market, addressing the performance issues that had plagued the Blue Flame models. Despite this improvement, the damage was done. The 1953 to 1955 Corvettes had already earned their reputation as a failed experiment in American sports cars. In retrospect, these early Corvettes hold a special place in automotive history as pioneers, but they are also a testament to the growing pains of creating an iconic brand. Today, while collectors appreciate the Blue Flame models for their rarity and historical value, they are widely considered among the most flawed Corvettes ever produced. 1980 Corvette 305. The 1980 Corvette 305 is often cited as one of the most failed Corvettes in the car's history, primarily due to the forced compromise between performance and California's strict emissions standards. That year, Corvette buyers in California found themselves restricted to a weaker 305 cubic inch V8 engine rather than the standard 350 engine available in other states. This California-exclusive 305 engine produced a dismal 180 horsepower, a sharp drop from the 190 horsepower of the base 350, leaving enthusiasts and casual drivers alike dissatisfied. This model's power deficit was exacerbated by the absence of a manual transmission option, as California's emissions requirements necessitated a 3-speed automatic transmission. The pairing of an underwhelming 5.0-liter engine with a torque-sapping 3-speed automatic was particularly frustrating for those expecting the high-octane experience associated with Corvettes. The low power output of the 1980 Corvette 305 was symbolic of the struggles American muscle cars faced in adapting to emissions regulations. For a vehicle marketed as a performance icon, delivering 180 horsepower, barely more than some sedans of the era, was a major letdown. Corvette enthusiasts were used to thrilling V8 powerhouses, and the 305's lackluster performance fell far short. This disco-era Corvette accelerated sluggishly, often being compared to an overburdened commuter car rather than a true sports car. Despite these frustrations, Chevrolet offered California buyers a meager $50 discount, which did little to appease those who felt robbed of the Corvette's legacy of speed and power. Outside of California, the 1980 Corvette did not fare much better. Although other states retained the option of the 350 cubic inch engine, even this setup was weakened, producing 190 horsepower at best. While a higher performance L82 version generated 230 horsepower, the power figures still paled in comparison to those of earlier Corvette models, reflecting the adverse impact of emissions regulations on performance. Yet, these models became symbolic of a difficult period for American performance cars, with the Corvette line feeling particularly detuned and constrained. The forced use of a 305 engine was more than a blow to performance. It represented a broader struggle within the auto industry, highlighting how regulatory pressures compromised the core attributes of American muscle cars. Many enthusiasts consider the 1980 Corvette 305 the ultimate example of a failed Corvette, stripped of the raw power and engaging driving dynamics that defined the model. For Corvette fans, the 1980 Corvette 305 was a disappointment that underscored the frustrating limitations of the era. Today, it serves as a reminder of how regulatory challenges can reshape even the most iconic cars, leaving a legacy as one of the most derided models in Corvette history. 1974 Corvette LS4 454. The 1974 Corvette LS4 454 is a model often viewed as one of the most failed Corvettes due to its underwhelming performance and the diminishing returns of its once vaunted big block V8. For years, the 454 cubic inch V8 had been a staple of Corvette's high-performance lineup, delivering unmatched power and torque. However, by 1974, emissions regulations, rising insurance costs, and a shift in consumer tastes had forced Chevrolet to detune the LS4 significantly, dropping its horsepower output to just 270. This left the 1974 Corvette with only a slight power advantage over the smaller, lighter L48 350, which was rated at 250 horsepower. For many Corvette enthusiasts, this meager 20 horsepower difference was insufficient to justify the LS4's weight penalty and handling drawbacks, leading to a growing dissatisfaction with big block Corvettes. The LS4's limitations extended beyond raw power. The 454's weight significantly affected handling, creating a front-heavy driving experience that compromised the Corvette's agility. With the small block L82 offering almost the same power output, but with better balance and handling, the LS4 454 began to lose its appeal among performance-oriented buyers. Many saw it as a clumsy attempt by Chevrolet to maintain the Corvette's reputation for big engine power while struggling to meet new regulatory demands. It's no surprise that 1974 marked the end of the big block Corvette era. The LS4's lackluster performance was emblematic of the muscle car industry's struggles in the 1970s, with the Corvette caught in the transition from raw muscle to a more refined Grand Tourer. Adding to the 1974 LS4's troubles were broader issues plaguing the auto industry. The oil crisis of the early 1970s led to skyrocketing fuel prices, making gas-guzzling big blocks increasingly impractical and undesirable. The Corvette, long a symbol of power and excess, had to contend with a consumer base that was now looking for fuel efficiency alongside performance. For California buyers in particular, the LS4 was an impractical choice, with high fuel consumption and emissions issues that made it difficult to justify. The shifting market dynamics and increasing regulatory pressures made the LS4 Corvette seem outdated, a relic of a bygone era that was quickly losing relevance. Despite its shortcomings, the 1974 Corvette LS4 454 still has a place in Corvette history as the last of the big block Corvettes. Today, some collectors see it as an affordable way to experience a classic big block Corvette without the premium price tags of earlier models. However, for many enthusiasts, the 1974 LS4 remains a reminder of a challenging period for American performance cars, one where compromise became necessary and power had to give way to practicality. The 1974 LS4 454 will always be viewed as a most hated Corvette among purists, embodying the struggles of a powerful icon forced to adapt to a rapidly changing world. 1975 Corvette L48 350. The 1975 Corvette L48 350 is frequently labeled as one of the most failed Corvettes due to its drastic drop in power and performance, a reflection of the tough emissions and fuel economy regulations of the mid-1970s. As the oil crisis hit and environmental regulations tightened, Chevrolet was forced to make considerable sacrifices, leaving the 1975 Corvette with only 165 horsepower from its base 350 cubic inch engine. This represented the lowest output of any V8-powered Corvette to date, an almost shocking contrast to the roaring powerhouses that had defined the brand just a few years earlier. Corvette enthusiasts had come to expect thrilling acceleration and unmatched power, but the L48's disappointing performance, with 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 7.7 seconds, made it clear that the golden age of muscle cars was on the decline. One of the biggest problems with Corvettes in this era was the newly introduced catalytic converter, a device that was essential to meeting emissions standards, but stifled the engine's output and limited its potential. The L48's horsepower had dropped so far that it was barely 15 horsepower more than the Blue Flame six-cylinder in the original 1953 Corvette. With the big block LS4 454 engine no longer available, Buyers seeking power had no other options. Even the optional L82 engine, which produced 205 horsepower, struggled under the weight of the emissions systems. This shift in focus from performance to compliance made the 1975 L48 Corvette a symbol of an era where sports car capabilities were sacrificed to meet regulatory demands, a disappointment to the Corvette faithful. Despite its lackluster performance, the 1975 Corvette L48 found surprising commercial success, with Chevrolet selling over 38,000 units, marking a record high in Corvette sales at the time. This anomaly highlights a complex dynamic. While Corvette enthusiasts bemoaned the power reductions, the Corvette's iconic design and the allure of owning an American sports car kept the model popular with buyers. However, for those seeking the raw power and thrilling experience that Corvettes had once delivered, the L48's compromised performance rendered it one of the most hated Corvettes, a car that seemed to betray the essence of what made Corvettes special. For collectors today, the 1975 L48 can be a hidden gem, offering an affordable entry into the classic Corvette world. With modern aftermarket parts, it's possible to boost the L48's horsepower significantly, adding 75 to 100 horsepower with simple upgrades like a high-performance carburetor, headers, and a new camshaft. This restoration potential allows enthusiasts to reclaim some of the power lost to emissions constraints, making it an appealing choice for those willing to modify their classic. Still, the 1975 L48 Corvette remains a controversial model, forever tied to the challenges of its era, where regulatory pressures forced American muscle cars to adapt in ways that left a lasting mark on their legacy. 1982 and 1984 Corvettes. The 1982 and 1984 Corvettes are often included in discussions of the most failed Corvettes due to the problematic crossfire injection system and design flaws that hindered performance and reliability. For the 1982 Corvette, which marked the end of the C3 generation, Chevrolet introduced the 350 cubic inch V8 with crossfire injection, an early attempt at electronic fuel injection. However, this system was underwhelming from the start. The dual throttle body setup, which was intended to increase fuel efficiency and reduce emissions, instead delivered inconsistent power and poor fuel economy, producing only 200 horsepower. While this was an improvement over prior models, the power gains didn't match the Corvette's performance reputation. With a single transmission option, a 4-speed automatic, this model left many enthusiasts disappointed by its sluggish acceleration and limited tuning potential. The problems with the crossfire system continued into the 1984 Corvette, the first of the C4 generation. This model, initially praised for its sleek, modern design and digital dash, quickly developed a reputation for unreliability and rough handling. The 1984 Corvette carried over the crossfire system, now producing 205 horsepower, but its performance was still hampered by poor air distribution, low RPM limitations, and a restrictive intake manifold that choked the engine's power at higher speeds. The system's reliability issues were further compounded by fragile 1980s-era electronics that frequently failed. Additionally, the harsh Z51 suspension, designed for track performance, made everyday driving uncomfortable, with road tests describing it as a rough, rattle-prone experience. The manual transmission option was delayed until 1985, limiting the 1984 model to the problematic early 700 R4 automatic, which was notorious for shifting issues and limited durability under load. For many Corvette enthusiasts, the crossfire injection's limitations and unreliability made the 1982 and 1984 models some of the most hated Corvettes in history. The C4 Corvette's introduction in 1984 was marred by GM's decision to launch the model with an underdeveloped fuel injection system. By 1985, Chevrolet replaced crossfire injection with tuned port injection, which produced 230 horsepower and addressed many of the performance issues that plagued the earlier models. This upgrade underscored the disappointment many felt with the 1982 and 1984 models, as the new system provided better power and efficiency without the tuning and reliability issues of crossfire. Though these models retain some nostalgic value today, they are remembered as products of an experimental phase, where technological ambition outpaced reliable execution. The Crossfire Corvettes are often seen as examples of how emissions regulations and early attempts at electronic fuel injection shaped a challenging era for American performance cars. While prices for these models have risen in recent years, they continue to be appreciated more for their place in Corvette history than for their performance, remaining as reminders of a transitional and, for many, disappointing chapter in Corvette's legacy. 1987. Callaway Twin Turbo. The 1987 Callaway Twin Turbo Corvette stands as one of the most failed Corvettes in the eyes of many enthusiasts, primarily due to reliability issues and a high price tag that led to buyer frustration. At the time, Chevrolet's partnership with Callaway offered Corvette fans the chance to own a factory-endorsed twin turbocharged beast with a staggering 345 horsepower and 465 pound-feet of torque. The car boasted a yaw to 60 miles per hour time of just 4.7 seconds and a top speed nearing 178 miles per hour, rivaling exotic cars like Lamborghini and Ferrari at a fraction of the cost. Yet, the reality of owning this high-performance machine often fell short of expectations. Under the RPO B2K code, the Callaway Twin Turbo package was available for an additional $19,995 on top of the Corvette's base price, pushing the car's total cost close to $50,000. While the performance numbers were impressive, the Callaway was plagued by reliability issues. The twin-turbo setup put significant stress on almost every component, making the car prone to mechanical failures. Engine components, fuel systems, and even the stock transmission struggled to cope with the increased power output. In essence, the car required extensive maintenance to keep it running smoothly, and owners often faced unexpected repairs, leading to mounting frustration. It wasn't a question of whether something would go wrong, it was a matter of when. This unreliability left many feeling that they had invested in a high-powered Corvette that could not consistently deliver. Another issue with the 1987 Callaway Twin Turbo was its complex design, which relied heavily on cutting-edge electronics and sensors to manage the turbocharged system. Even minor issues, such as a loose hose or a misaligned sensor, could cause significant performance problems. Owners needed either substantial technical knowledge or access to specialized mechanics, as even slight maladjustments could lead to erratic performance. The car's dual throttle body design, intercoolers, and unique Callaway additions required precise calibration, making it one of the most sensitive Corvettes on the market. This sensitivity, combined with the lack of readily available expertise for repairs, deterred many potential buyers and hurt the model's reputation as a reliable performance car. Today, the 1987 Callaway Twin Turbo is a collector's item, valued for its rarity and ambitious engineering rather than its practicality. Fewer than 500 units were ever produced between 1987 and 1991, making it a coveted model among Corvette enthusiasts who appreciate its unique place in Corvette history. Yet, for many, it represents a missed opportunity. An experiment that promised to deliver supercar performance, but ultimately fell short due to persistent mechanical issues and a high cost of ownership. The Callaway Twin Turbo serves as a reminder of the challenges American automakers faced in adapting high-performance engineering to the stringent requirements of real-world reliability. Despite its groundbreaking performance, the model remains one of the most hated Corvettes, seen as a cautionary tale of ambition outpacing execution. The 1988 Corvette Commemorative Edition, also known as the 35th Anniversary Edition, is widely regarded as one of the most hated Corvettes, mostly due to its controversial design choices. This limited edition model aimed to celebrate Corvette's legacy by recalling the original 1953 model's white paint. But Chevrolet took the color scheme to an extreme that many found unappealing. The 35th Anniversary Corvette was finished in a stark, all-white appearance that covered nearly every surface, from the body panels to the wheels, and even the interior elements like the steering wheel, leather seats, and console lid. This monochromatic white approach was meant to honor the original Corvette, yet it ended up looking over the top, often compared to a Miami Vice aesthetic that felt outdated shortly after its release. The excessive use of white made the car difficult to maintain, as dirt and wear quickly showed on the upholstery and wheels, which became a headache for owners. Despite the design missteps, the 35th Anniversary Edition did include some valuable features. It was equipped with the 5.7-liter L98 V8 engine, delivering 240 horsepower and 340 pound-feet of torque. While respectable for the era, this power was hardly groundbreaking and couldn't compete with later high-performance Corvettes, making the model more about aesthetics than performance. Inside, owners received dual 6-way power sport seats, automatic climate control, and a premium Delco Bose audio system. Nice touches, but not enough to justify the added cost for many. Offered only as a coupe and priced at nearly $35,000 with the anniversary package, the model felt overpriced to some buyers, especially given its lack of performance upgrades. This hefty price tag and limited improvements solidified the 1988 Commemorative Edition as one of the most failed Corvettes in the eyes of some enthusiasts. While limited to 2,050 units, the 35th Anniversary Corvette's exclusivity has garnered it some collector interest today. However, many Corvette fans view it as an overly stylized tribute that fell short of capturing the spirit of the original. The 1988 Commemorative Edition remains a memorable yet polarizing model, remembered more for its unique look and impracticality than for its driving experience. For some, it's a collector's gem. For others, it's a lesson in how not to execute a tribute edition. Ultimately, the 35th Anniversary Corvette underscores the importance of balancing nostalgia with practicality, making it a symbol of both Corvette's legacy and its occasional missteps. 1995 Corvette Pace Car. The 1995 Corvette Pace Car is a model often met with mixed feelings, with some enthusiasts even considering it among the most hated Corvettes. Mechanically, the 1995 Pace Car was sound, featuring a 300-horsepower LT1 engine, which provided respectable performance for the era. However, its polarizing aesthetics overshadowed its technical capabilities. The car's design, which included a two-tone paint scheme with a dark purple metallic top and Arctic white lower body, split opinions. Many found the color scheme, especially the use of purple, jarring and unflattering on a Corvette. Adding to the controversy were the bright red and black accents separating the two colors, creating a lollipop effect that was more divisive than eye-catching. Only 527 replicas were produced, which added an element of exclusivity but also reinforced its status as a collectible oddity rather than a celebrated model. The 1995 Corvette Pace Car was designed to commemorate Chevrolet's third time pacing the Indianapolis 500, following the 1978 and 1986 models. However, unlike those predecessors, the 1995 model had a bolder design that many felt clashed with Corvette's sleek image. Inside, the car featured black and purple leather seats with an embroidered Indianapolis 500 logo, continuing the color theme into the interior. This look, while unique, was a far cry from the more timeless appeal Corvette fans typically expected. While some collectors today appreciate the 1995 Pace Car for its limited production and connection to the Indy 500, many Corvette enthusiasts view it as a most failed Corvette due to its design missteps. The bright colors and unusual choices were seen as gimmicks rather than genuine enhancements, giving the model a reputation as an outlier in Corvette's lineage. For those who prioritize performance, the car's aesthetics detracted from its respectable mechanical attributes, leaving it as one of the more controversial designs in Corvette's history. Whether loved or loathed, each of these most failed Corvettes holds a unique place in automotive history. They remind us that even legendary brands like Chevrolet aren't immune to experimentation and occasional missteps. Do you think some of these controversial models deserve a second look, or are they best left in the rearview mirror? Share your thoughts in the comments and tell us if you'd add any other Corvettes to this list. Maybe you've got a story about one of these most hated models, or a perspective on what truly makes a Corvette great. Let's keep the discussion going. And if you enjoyed this dive into Corvette's highs and lows, hit that subscribe button for more from Muscle Car Masters, because the journey through American muscle car history is just getting started.